Hey everyone, it's TV Shores. It's April the 4th, 2016. It's 1:10 p.m. I'm trying a little something different here. I'm working from my laptop in a different room where there's less distraction, less commotion. My normal routine has been disrupted. This will be going on 2 weeks now. So I'm trying to find a way to still be able to stay focused on what the Lord would have me doing and not be distracted by what's going on in the main part of the house. So, we're going to pick up, hopefully, where we left off. That last video cut off suddenly because of a memory issue. But the Lord worked it out where it cut off at the end of the sentence at a point where I could just pick right up. And hopefully all will continue to flow in a nice, understandable manner. We're going to go back to Matthew 25, verse 9. But the wise answered, saying, Not so. Now remember, the foolish had wanted them to share their oil. Lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves. Now, what I felt the Lord was really pulling out to me in this verse was this part here about buy for yourselves. That was the important thing we needed to look at within this verse. And of course I pointed out that for yourselves is exactly that. It's something that each of us have to do for ourselves. It's not something that someone else can do for us, because this is all about growing that relationship with the Lord, and that's something that we can only do for ourselves. And the significance of this, the use of this word buy. That's where I think I wasn't finished explaining. When we look at the word buy, there were 4 Greek Strong's numbers that this took me to that kind of work together to give a understanding of how it's used here. And we look at Strong's 58, 59, and 1453. 58 was about to purchase, which we know purchasing, we understand that it is about costing us something. And I believe in the other video I pointed out, it's about our diligence and our effort in building our relationship with the Lord. It's about that surrendering all to the Lord. That's what it cost us. The Lord laid down His life unto death. And as Scripture teaches us, it is our reasonable service. And I'm trying to remember the full context of that verse. I don't remember right offhand, but we've covered it in videos past. What our reasonable service is to the Lord. Okay, I pulled up that verse because I wanted us to fully understand it. It's Romans 12:1. It says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. So that's what our cost is, that we are to present our bodies a living sacrifice that is holy and acceptable unto God. That is our reasonable service. It's about surrendering ourselves to the Lord. So that's what it means to purchase, how it's used here, because it cost us something. It cost us, so to speak, in that we surrender ourselves to the Lord. As we move on to understanding what is being spoken with this word buy, we come to the Strong's number 59. Of course, this is the Greek. And the meaning of it is to gather, to collect, or bring to you. So it's about us taking in what is needed. In this case, to build that relationship with the Lord. To gather, to collect, or to bring to you. So it's about that seeking and bringing to yourself what is needed to build that relationship. as we go further and look at Strong's 1453, it says collecting one's faculties. We know faculties has to do with the mind. I put a note out here, regaining in mind. It's collecting one's faculties is about regaining something mentally or within us, so to speak. So what this word by is trying to convey is about several things here. It's about our surrendering to the Lord, because that is what it cost us, okay? It's about seeking and gathering, collecting, or bringing to you. That means going out and getting what is needed, understanding what we need to be doing for the Lord and how to grow that relationship with Him, which I've covered in all these videos that pertain to the judgment of the church. It's about collecting one's faculties for those who are not where they need to be in understanding, okay? This is about understanding. Collecting, seeking. Collecting, to gather and to collect, is about seeking something and bringing it unto yourself. Just as the scripture says, seek and ye shall find. It's about that gathering to yourself, seeking something that you may have it, okay? And that is what this is trying to tell us, is we have to surrender. That's our cost. And we have to gather unto us the things that we need to understand. See, it's collecting one's faculties. It's about understanding. It's about understanding and waking, and how would you say, as we grow in these things and we understand the deeper things of God, it awakens us. It says here to waken, to rouse. So it awakens us, as I noted here, to open our mind and spiritual eyes to the truth that they have been closing their eyes to. So this is all about the foolish going out, surrendering themselves to the Lord and seeking what is needed to bring them to the deeper truth of God. That's what this buying is all about. And if you really, you can look this up and seek this out and ask the Lord to show you. But that's why the word buy was used, because we can see it conveys a lot of different things that we need to know, and it's all about for yourself. You've got to surrender yourself. You've got to seek for yourself so that you may understand, you may gain understanding. Collecting one's faculties is gaining understanding. To awaken, to rouse, to open their eyes, spiritual eyes, to the truth that they have been closing their eyes to. So it's all about them surrendering to the Lord, gathering in what they need to have understanding of God's truth, the things they have closed their eyes to in the past. And I think it's only God could use a 3-letter word to convey so much. But when I first started looking into that word, I was just amazed at all that I was finding and all the meaning behind it. So we can see that this is all about what they need to do spiritually. Okay? They've got to surrender, they've got to seek, and they've got to understand so that it can open their spiritual eyes. They've got to let the Lord guide them in their understanding and accept the Lord's truth, things they've had their eyes closed to in the past. Now, as we move on to Matthew 25:10, I'm going to cover this first part because it's real brief, but as we get into understanding a few things further in the verse, it gets a little more lengthy. But here it says, and while they went to buy. So while the foolish had gone to surrender to the Lord, diligently seeking what was needed to have that relationship that was required so that the bridegroom would know them, while they were gone to seek these things, to surrender to the Lord, to seek out what was needed, to come to understand the deeper things of the Lord and open their eyes to the things they had been closed to, the bridegroom came. So they had waited too long to start trying to collect their faculties, so to speak, to surrender to the Lord and seek His deeper truths. Because this is not something you can do at the snap of your fingers. It's something that takes time. It's something that you have to work at and build upon. Because we see that earlier back in verses 3 and 4 that the foolish took their lamp but did not take any oil, but the wise took their lamp and oil. So we see even then the wise had their oil, but the foolish had not sought after the deeper things to have that oil, to have that deeper understanding, to have their eyes open, because it's that oil which allows the light that's to come. Because we have to understand that the significance of the Lord using this in this parable. This oil is all about the light. If you remember back in the earlier verses, the oil is all about the light, about the lighting of the lamp. What we learn about the oil is about, it is olive oil, and the olive oil is about purity, about having been refined and purified, that it may burn always. So this is about a refinement that the wise have gone through and a purification they've gone through, because they are about to receive a light, a spiritual awakening, so to speak, because we talked about how this event is going to wake each up to a level they've not been awake at spiritually before. So that's where the foolish are at now, because they are going out to buy. But while they went to collect and seek what was needed, the bridegroom came. And they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Okay, so we've learned what the buying is all about. We've learned that the foolish were sent to buy, meaning they had to go seek it out for themselves, because it's not something. Give me just a moment here. I'm not used to this laptop, so it slows me down on a few things here. But as they went to buy for themselves, to surrender to the Lord and seek out what they needed, the bridegroom came. And they that were ready went in. So I'm going to cut this off here, and we'll pick up there on the next one. Love you. Bye-bye.